Hello, hello, and welcome everyone. Welcome to the stream today. Hello, hello, hello. Today, we're going to be playing more Cinderella Phenomenon. If you don't know who I am, I'm Princess Evillan. I stream here on Twitch, and I post my VODs on the YouTube at @princessevillan So if you missed the first part of this game and you want to go check it out, you can check it out on my VODs. And yeah, so let's get into Cinderella Phenomenon, shall we? I noticed something when I loaded up the game today, that in the background here, we have us, who's Cinderella. We're cursed by the Cinderella curse. We have a red rose, we have a red hood, we have a star, a spinning spindle, something to do with like spinning and sewing, and a seashell. And I think that's going to be the curses for all of the 5 boys that we can interact with in this game. And I think I was right on it when I guessed last time that Karma has to do something with Sleeping Beauty, or not Sleeping Beauty, Beauty and the Beast. And I think we get that because, like, in the rose in Beauty and the Beast was so important. So maybe we'll be his beauty while he's the beast. We don't know. I did notice too that the Red Riding Hood and the Neverland Star probably go to Fritz and Waltz. Waltz actually tells us that he does have the Neverland curse, so I think that's him. And then Fritz, I think he's on the list, but he was locked and we didn't get the chance to interact with him in any way that would have led us to like romance him, especially after we were kicked out of the castle. So I think he's going to be the Red Riding Hood, but I don't know where he comes into play with that. So anyways, let's continue. I have a bunch of save files. See, last we were playing, we ran into Karma at night, and he was sword fighting with one of the soldiers and like teaching him how to be a better sword fighter. So let's see what happens after that. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. It's been about 2 weeks since I first saw Karma here in the forest practicing with Garland. I've come here every night since then, though I never stay long as Karma, since I usually have work to do in the mornings. Alright, here I come. Their 2 swords clash, and Karma laughs as he throws Jurian back and taps her lightly on the shoulder with his sword. That makes 4 hits, and that one was easy. Is that the best you can do, Jurian? I noticed that every time Karma practices with Jurian, he's in his Miss Karma disguise. He says it's because of the curse, and because he does not want Jurian to fall in love with him. So he is a male, but his curse has to do something with, like, if he's dressed as a male, then all of the women will fall in love with him, versus if he's dressed as a female, then all the men will fall in love with him. So because he's fighting with Jurian, who is a female, he is dressing as a female in order to avoid the effects of his curse. So he's kind of a little bit of a cross-dresser thanks to his curse, but I'm really interested to see how that ties in with like what his actual curse is. Isn't he being overdramatic? I doubt someone like Jurian could fall in love with Karma. Be subtle and quiet. Garland tells me that you're usually good at that. I am, sir. Then why the exception today? Sir. Darling, it wouldn't happen to be because of the way I'm dressed, would it? Are you still not used to it? Hit the nail on the head, have I? It is not very chivalrous to hurt a lady, of course, but that logic applies to men as well. An enemy is an enemy, Jurian, even if your enemy is a delicate flower like myself. Delicate flower? Jurian, you should hit him on the head for that. But princess, he is not delicate at all. Jurian laughs and I scowl at her. Ooh, we're the bitter one, aren't we? Is she laughing at me? No, she's probably laughing with you. She thinks you're telling a joke or something. You and Karma seem to get along. I doubt it. Oh, princess, you wound me. You always say that. You wound me where Jurian's blade cannot. Something flashes in Jurian's eyes as she readies her sword again. Karma stands ready as Jurian rushes him with her sword. Their swords clash again. I wonder. Karma, your back's open. Huh? Karma turns. Jurian taps him on the shoulder and laughs aloud. I did it. A single hit. Looks like you have a weakness too, Karma. That's just interfering. No, it wasn't a weakness. It was a lack of sleep catching up with me. Why did he listen to me? He told Garland the other day that it was crucial to only listen and watch the most important things. Alright, practice is over for now. I can see Garland coming for his practice. Karma walks over to the corner to have a drink. I should probably head back to the tavern soon, but there is something I want to see first. On her way out, Jurian gives a solemn nod to Garland. She pauses to say something to him and then looks at me, noticing my vague curiosity. I was just mentioning what a good swordsman Karma is. I have seen him fight, and Karma is a good swordsman, there's no doubt about it, yet is practicing with him really so special? He is fast on his feet and quick with his reactions. He's an excellent person to train under, even better than most of the commanders in the palace. I can second that. That's pretty powerful. Even better than Ross. Remember him? Ross? Ross O'Donovan? And just imagine Ross O'Donovan with like a goofy knight setup and is just like, yeah. The first commander we trained under, the one that punished slow learning with extra exercises. You always had to do more exercises than I did. Something about you being distracted. I was watching the way you swung your sword to make sure you didn't hurt yourself. Oh my gosh. Garland, just admit you have a crush on Jurian already. It's so obvious. You've always been overprotective. Well, I have a crush on you. Just say it. It's not that hard. They both suddenly stop to look at Karma, who is smiling slyly on the side. Why does he have that look on his face? Be a matchmaker, Karma. Get them together. You can do it. If anyone can do it, you can do it. Well, that's a sign. We can't keep the commander waiting. Garland shakes his head, his expression snapping back into something more serious. Right. The two exchange quick farewells before Jurian waves and steps out of the clearing, leaving Garland with Karma. You're in a dress today. Are you two really so opposed to hurting me when I'm in a dress, or are you worried about ruining it? No. It's just so strange. You move so well, even in a long dress. But yes, Jurian did mention almost stepping on it once. Impossible. I am the picture of elegance. Of course, sir. Karma shrugs Garland's comment off. The two ready their swords, then get right into practice. Jurian has taken over Garland's patrol now, so that Garland can get some practice time. So, Garland, have you told Jurian yet? Hit the nail on the head, didn't you, Karma? No. The conversation that Karma always has with Garland is the real reason I stay behind to watch them practice. I don't understand why Garland answers Karma's question if doing so makes him so depressed. Oh my gosh. We're so innocent. Will you ever say anything to her, Garland? Why don't you just confess to her already? Karma lands an easy hit on Garland, who sighs in response. Whenever Garland thinks about Jurian, he gets distracted. I do not understand his feelings at all, but seeing him remain quiet frustrates me. Jurian is talented and poised. I can never be good enough for her. Whatever. You two are both soldiers. You both are on the same side. You guys both fight together. There's bound to be a little bit of connection. You'll never win a woman's heart if you don't compliment her looks as well, Garland. Well, she's pretty too. Beautiful. And then there's me. Aren't they both knights? Haven't they been training together for a long time? That's what I was saying. Just say something to her, please. Let's do a little savey save. Actually, I don't want to delete that save. I want to save over this. Oops, did I? Yes. Okay. Just say something to her, will ya? Well, all you ever do is talk about her. Even Karma says your concentration is lacking because she's always on your mind. Ugh. So just tell her, if she does not like you back, then that's it. If she doesn't like me back... Confessions are hard, princess. Very tedious. You're only saying that because you're dramatic about everything. The very nature of love is dramatic, darling. But enough idle chatter, sir. Excuse me. But enough idle chatter, sir. Let us continue our training. I ended up staying longer than I intended. By the time I consider returning to the tavern, Garland and Karma are wrapping up for the night. I have a question for Karma, so I wait until Garland leaves before I approach him. You're still here, princess? Were you seeking out alone time with me by chance? I have enough of that every day when we run errands. I just have a question for you. You always come to the right person. What can I do for you, Princess Evillan? You ask Garland the same question every night you train, and he always tells you that he cannot confess. Karma nods in acknowledgement, but his attention is on his sword. He inspects it carefully before sheathing it. It frustrates me. You're frustrated? That look of his always annoys me. Oh my. It is annoying. Did you want to ask me why he won't confess because you're so frustrated? Yes. I suppose after 2 months I do know you a bit better. You do not know anything about me, and I do not know anything about Karma either. Confessing isn't easy, dear Evillan. Surely you must realize that the possibility of rejection is a significant deterrent. But if you never ask, you never get an answer, and the stress of worrying stays with you and ruins everything. Why are you staring at me? Is that the reason you're so blunt, princess? Blunt? You're far more blunt than I am. Princess Evillan, you truly are amusing. You're as sharp as a knight's blade. I am not amusing. State the compliment. That is a matter of opinion, darling. He really is insufferable. And yet I still come to him for advice. The scariest part of a confession is the possibility of rejection. Can you imagine loving someone and then finding out that they don't feel the same way about you? My thoughts shifted to the king and my chest tightens. Yeah, we got some daddy issues, so that makes sense. I bet that hurts. Princess Evillan. Karma reaches out a hand to brush a strand of hair out of my face. I slap it away without realizing. He pulls his hand back with a gentle sigh. My apologies, princess. No, I cannot imagine. No? Loving someone and finding out they do not feel the same way. I always knew my father never loved me. My understanding is different from what Karma is referring to. Besides, I no longer hold any love in my heart for the king. I have already given up hope on him. Right? Is it true? Is that true? It is a good thing you haven't experienced rejected love, princess. It is one of the worst feelings. Karma asked to be alone, so I returned to the tavern by myself that night. Ooh, we are sticking true to the Karma route. Or as true as I can get it to be with my first run through. I do not know why I agreed to this, but nothing changes. Today I am once again out in town with Karma, running errands. Since we've been partners, he insists on me coming with him every day. Why do you need a new dress? Because a lady needs all kinds of dresses in her closet. Variety is key when you want to make a good impression. Why would you want to make a good impression when people in a disguise? A disguise is meant to conceal you. It does not exist to be flaunted. Oh no, darling. I only wear the disguise to stop the curse from working on people. It's not really meant to conceal anything, but the fact that I am a man. Being doted on by a married woman or by a woman in love with another man is especially troubling. Oh yeah, okay, so if his curse works that hard, that could be a problem. Is the curse really that powerful? Karma leads me over to the dress store and our conversation pauses when he goes to the store owner to give specifications for a new dress. When we leave, Karma suggests going to some place to reward me for all my hard work. You're treating me? Why wouldn't I, darling? You've been helping me for a while now. What is this feeling? Gratitude? Karma does owe me for everything I've done for him, so why do I feel like this? You know, it would be much easier for you to just help me carry bags. Oh, there, let's buy one of those cupcakes. Karma cuts through my suggestion easily. Does he really dislike work so much that he'd rather pay me off for helping him? Karma takes me to a stand showcasing all kinds of cupcakes. There are some with colored frosting, others with fancy decorations. Some are especially eye-catching, like a bright blue cupcake decorated with little stars. Anything catch your fancy, ladies? All of them, actually. Alas, I do not think eating them all would be good for my diet. What do you think, Princess? We'll share one. I turn back to the cupcakes, which I realize are big enough to share between 2 people. Am I choosing one for myself or one that Karma would like? I guess he is treating me, but 2 cupcakes catch my eyes. Okay, here's another choice. One has a tiny little creature sitting on top of the frosting. It seems to be a little lizard of sorts. Though it is strange, the colors remind me of Karma's dress. The other cupcake is decorated with little white chocolate pearls. Those pearls are small and somehow cute, but Karma might like the other cupcake? Oh, so it's between those 2? Which one do you like, Evillan? Let's see. I like the cupcake with pearls. He's treating us, so I think I want to get something that we like. I don't particularly care in this situation about getting something that Karma might like because he's supposed to be treating us. So let's get the cupcake with the pearls. I'll have that one. Princess, I didn't know you liked such cute things. Ugh. That's precious, darling. I hope he doesn't tease me about this later. Let's go enjoy this somewhere else, shall we? Karma leads me to the middle of the plaza, and the 2 of us find a table. He walks off to get a fork and a knife before returning and handing a set to me. Do we really need a knife and fork to eat a cupcake? So, before we got your dress, you distracted me with cupcakes. We were talking about your curse. Were we? It's not an interesting topic. I wonder why he wants to keep it hidden. I was glad that we had gotten off that tangent, to be honest. Why don't you want to talk about it? You have your secrets, just as I do, Princess. But the whole point of pairing up is to help each other with our curses. Princess, you want to help me? Only because it is necessary that I help him so he can help me. I haven't made any progress helping you, though. You said you would provide me with opportunities. I'm not very good at that, am I? I'm sorry, Princess. Well, I don't think I've done anything for you, either. Princess, you've been helping me for the last few weeks. Whether or not it is an obligation, you are still good company. Good company? No one has ever told me that before. They only chide me for being difficult to speak with. Karma starts cutting the cupcake. Oh, that's different than what I was imagining. Oh, it still kind of looks like Karma's outfit. Karma starts cutting the cupcake, his knife sliding through frosting and cake with ease. I've definitely never seen such refined manners for a simple dessert. What was your life like before the curse, Princess? I have no need to tell you any of that. No, it's not necessary, but I am curious. Would I be doing a good deed in telling him? I don't think so. How about we trade off fact for fact? You give me a story today and I'll give you one tomorrow. What makes you think I'm interested in your life? Well, you do keep asking me about my curse. Only because we're working on breaking our curses. Okay then, we won't talk about the past or any secrets. We can talk about this cupcake instead. What? Why does he always insist on changing the topic? Can we please just get back to the subject at hand? Yes, this cupcake. If you insist on sharing a story for a story, then I will tell you something about me. Oh? You didn't seem the type to want to share. I normally do not see any reason for sharing things about my past, no. Mother once told me that to confide in someone was a weakness. Yeah, so Evelyn's mom has this kind of whole Mother Gothel thing going on, where she's like, only listen to me, I'm the only one that loves you, everyone else is out to get you. It made us like super paranoid and untrusting of people to an extent where we're like super cold to everyone around us. And I kind of wonder why our mother did that. I wonder if she was a witch and she's trying to hide the fact that Evillan was born from a witch. Or maybe she's just cuckoo. But more than that, I was always worried that others would judge me. No one has ever wanted to listen to me. I know enough about others' opinions of me to know what they think. To know that they think I am the one at fault. Always. I wouldn't judge you, princess. Ugh. Reading our mind. I mean, I wouldn't judge you for not wanting to say anything to me. I divulge nothing to you, after all. A story for a story, that's the deal, right? I expect you to keep it. Or rather, a fact for a fact. It's not like I have to tell him everything, just something about myself. I will tell you about my life at the palace. It's not as if it's a secret, though I doubt Karma would understand. Ever since Mother died, the palace has been a cold place. Huh? Why the surprise? Is it because you see Evillan and Rod and assume we are one big happy family? I do have to admit that Princess Evillan seems quite gentle. Prince Rod is quiet, but he seems like an honorable man. When I saw you and the princess at the dress store, Princess Evillan seemed very nice, is she not? Her kindness is fragile at best. She tries far too hard for it to be genuine. Her insistence is irritating. I've never wanted to be friends with her. The king took a second wife after my mother died, as if she never mattered to him. Karma is silent, and I continue to talk, my emotions loosening my tongue. I had meant to stop there, but the words keep coming. The only one who ever showed me any affection in the palace was Mother. The king never paid much attention to me in the first place, but he treats Rod and Evillan far better than he's ever treated me. What was your mother like? She's Mother Gothel, don't you know? All of my fondest memories are of her. She was always with me in the palace, teaching me right from wrong. She taught me how not to show weakness, who to speak with. Who to speak with? Needless conversation is useless. People are often very likely to lead you astray. That was the reason I never saw any reason to speak with the townsfolk. Will you judge me as everyone else does? No, princess, I'm not judging you. I'm just a little sad. Sad? Why would you be sad? It sounds like you lived an empty life. It was not an empty life. But it sounds as if your mother separated you from everyone. She did. It wasn't as if the townsfolk would have accepted me anyway. Mother said they were not to be trusted. Princess, about your mother. I will not hear you speak ill of Mother. No, I only had a question about your mother. It says OBS got disconnected. I'm gonna wait for it to come back before moving on. Hopefully it comes back soon. There we go, reconnection successful. Karma coughs and I pause to stare at him as he clears his throat. What is it? This... Oh gods. What's with the kooky music? We were just getting serious. I hear the change immediately. His voice is lower, far lower. The soft gentleness is gone. Karma puts a hand to his throat and grumbles. Karma's voice is teetering on the edge of sounding unmistakably male. I've always wondered how he's able to change his voice, but I always forget to ask him about it. What happened to your voice? Oh, it's Miss Karma. I turn to see a young market girl approaching us. She looks at Karma adoringly. I've always wanted to speak with you, Miss Karma, ever since you complimented my dress that one time in the dress store. Not right now, we got a little vocal technical difficulties. Your dress is lovely today, as always, Miss Karma. Karma? Miss Karma, are you okay? I am quite fine. Huh? I cannot help but giggle as the girl takes a step back, looking shocked by Karma's now deep voice. Karma curses again in his deep voice before forcing a bright smile on his face. Excuse me, I'm feeling under the weather. I notice that he's trying to change the pitch of his voice, but the highness is only annoying rather than soothing now. Oh, I'm sorry. Karma turns to me urgently, but I'm too amused to offer any sort of assistance. What is it, Miss Karma? Karma's smile is forced and his eyes are glaring at me. I laugh once again, not able to help myself. His expression softens, but only slightly. I think we should leave with Karma. Let's get him out of this situation. I think we'd better get going. Karma nods his head. I'll have explaining to do if we just sit here. Is there nothing I can do to help you two? No, obviously not. I'm sorry. He does not look amused. Why? I'm only trying to get us out of here faster. Leaving. He takes my hand and curtsies politely to the girl as he pulls me away. Let me try that again. He takes my hand and curtsies politely to the girl as he pulls me away. Karma, you sound sick. It's run out. Run out? The potion that Parfait makes for me. I must have talked too much. You talked too much? Karma puts a finger to his lips as we stroll through town. He shakes his head, making it clear that he won't speak to me until later. When we arrive at the tavern, it is already dark. Karma pauses and turns to look at me. What? You have a nice smile, Princess Evillan. I'm glad I could make you laugh. Ugh. Well, of course I laughed. You sounded ridiculous. It was worth sounding ridiculous just to see you smile. If we really smiled in this moment, that would be the first smile we've ever gotten through the entire game. She does not smile. So that's probably a good sign that our relationship is getting better. I did want to tease him a little bit more, but that just seemed mean, so I wasn't going to do that. You and Rumple really are the same. The compliment doesn't faze him. He smiles widely as he leaves for his room. Later. I'm glad I can make you laugh. I cannot get those words out of my head, even though I'm supposed to be resting for the night. I think I should go see if Karma's practicing with Jurian or Garland. I'll leave my room and go down to the reception room. Delorian and Parfait let me go to the forest at night alone now, since they know that I'm meeting up with Karma. Parfait is in the reception room tonight, reading a book. I was always told reading in the dark was bad for your eyes. I heard that too. I don't quite know about that. But it definitely puts a strain on your eyes, I think. But I don't know how horrible the strain is. Oh, Princess, I didn't see you. I noticed that she's closed the book and now can read the cover. Is she reading Cinderella? That's my fairy tale curse. The Great War was caused by the fairy tales, right? Yes, that's right. And yet you're reading one. The curses are based off these fairy tales after all. But why are you reading Cinderella? My curse isn't anything like the fairy tale, it's reversed. True, but the morals remain the same. In order to become Cinderella, you must be good like her. Cinderella had everything handed to her by her fairy godmother. I had everything taken away. Princess, have you truly had everything taken away from you? Compared to what I used to have, what I have now might as well be nothing. You have friendships and people who enjoy your company. No one in this tavern enjoys my company. Are you sure about that, Princess? I think you just have difficulty trusting that we all like you. Like me? Why would you like me? You become like family here. I haven't even been here that long. It doesn't matter. Everyone here at the Marchen is family. Family? You're saying that everyone at the Marchen is like family? Princess, you're one of my boarders. You're more than just a regular here. You live here with us. So like I said, you're family. I speak more with the people here than I have ever spoken to my own family. In the palace, I was always alone. The only person I could speak with was Fritz, Fritz is also I think he also has a curse, but I don't know what curse he has. I think it's the Red Riding Hood curse based off of the menu screen. But what my big question is if he is cursed, he would remember that there is a crown princess and that she's disappeared. So why isn't he out looking for us? Especially if he knows about the Marchen. So, I don't know. Are you going to watch Karma practice? I nod in response. Be safe, Princess. As I head to the door, I recall what happened earlier today. Parfait, what is this potion you make for Karma? You mean the potion I make to change his voice? He begged me to help him when he first designed his disguise. Karma makes a beautiful woman, but he didn't think the illusion was complete without a convincing voice. You know how picky he is. Yeah, he's pretty picky. Something else on your mind, Princess? Karma hides his curse, but you must know the conditions for breaking it, don't you? Parfait does not answer. Or are you also keeping it a secret? Princess Evillan, not everyone likes to talk about their curse. I think it would be better if you asked Karma directly. I just don't understand why he won't tell me everything when I am trying to help him. Just as you think your good deeds are difficult, there is also something about Karma's curse that he can't come to terms with. I put my hand to the necklace around my neck. I still haven't performed any good deeds. Can I really do this? I'm going now. I walk out the front door and into the forest. I decide not to think about all of this, at least not until later. I wish this was all simpler and that Karma wasn't cloaked in so many secrets. So I have a suspicion that Karma is like a prince from somewhere else. That's why his sword fighting skills are so good. Yeah, he really keeps a lot of his cursed secrets, so there's not much we can guess with on how to help him or not. Mother, I went to town today. Oh, I told you not to go into town. Did your father take you? He told me that it would be fun. And was it? No, everyone looked really angry at me, but I don't know why. I've told you before, haven't I, dearest one? The townsfolk are jealous of you. Jealous? They are bitter about their lot in life, and because of that they will seek to use you for your status. You cannot trust them, Evillan. You cannot trust anyone but me. There's that Mother Gothel line again. Trusting others will only lead to heartbreak, Evillan. You need only trust me because I will never hurt you. Your mother does not sound like a good person. Favors and payback. I've been at the merchant for a couple of months now, and I still haven't managed to do a single good deed. Today I went to town with Waltz to buy ingredients for parfait. The two of us have both been very quiet, which is uncharacteristic for Waltz. Princess? What? Did Karma explain why he wasn't coming with you today? Probably not. Princess? Does Waltz not like my company? Is that why he's asking why he had to fill in for Karma? He said he was tired. Oh. Waltz turns his head, his eyebrows furrowing in confusion. The town feels different today. It does? It feels as if there are people watching us. How can you tell? With practice, I have a lot of eyes on me when I'm doing my puppet shows after all. Even before then, I was used to being watched, I guess. Before you were cursed? Why? Well, I was more conspicuous as an adult, I guess. An adult, oh right. You have the Neverland curse. You remembered. Yes, I have the Neverland curse. I told you what that was in the tavern once. You were stuck as a child when you should be a man. Right, it's a little inconvenient, but I've gotten used to it. Waltz is so much more straightforward about his curse than Karma. The two of us go into a store where we find the little cups that Parfait asked us to buy. After I pay, Waltz automatically picks up the bags. His help is nice for a change. I become so accustomed to carrying the bags on my own. So, have you made any progress on your good deeds? You can see from my necklace that I have not. But you have changed. I still don't see how I've changed at all. Karma hasn't taught me anything about doing good. Sometimes in order to do good, you need to realize some things about yourself first. Maybe Karma's not so bad at helping you with that. He is selfish, flamboyant, and acts as if the world revolves around him. But you're still partnered with him. What she kind of said reminded me of her, actually. I am. We're still partnered with him. I'm okay with Karma's company. Most of the people judge and shun me. But Karma hasn't done that, and he's mentioned enjoying my company. I have become more tolerant of him too. Oh, Princess! Waltz's eyes light up and I see him pointing ahead to a crowd of people gathered around the center of town. A woman stands in the middle of the crowd telling people's fortunes. We should go see if we can get our fortunes told. Come on! The crowd around the woman only grows larger until nearly half of the plaza has been taken up. I find myself pushed around in the crowd as I try to follow Waltz. The crowd is dense though, and in no time at all I have lost him. Waltz! I call for him, but I do not see him over the dozens of people in front of me. I will wait for him at the outskirts of the crowd. He should be able to find me. I make my way out of the crowd into the edges of an alleyway. But Walt still does not appear. 10 minutes go by and I consider walking back into the crowd when I hear a voice behind me. Are you looking for someone, madam? I feel someone grab my hand. Uh-oh. I slap him away and take a step back. When I turn, I find a man standing behind me in the alleyway. I was gonna say, standing near an alleyway doesn't sound like the best idea, considering last time we were on our own in the city, we got, like, chased down by two guys that were trying to steal our shit. Didn't mean to startle you. What do you want? I want to help you return to the palace, Princess Evillan. Oh, I don't trust this guy. Ugh. You know who I am? I do, princess, and I can lead you back to the palace. Who are you? Someone who's working for the king. But the king does not remember me. The only people that would remember me are witches, fairies, and those with a curse. So who exactly is this man? You're lying. Princess, why would I ever lie to you? Now come, I'm sure everyone at the palace will be very happy to see you. Ugh. The man grabs my hand roughly and begins trying to pull me through the alleyway. The first thing I try to do is scream, but the man clamps his free hand over my mouth. The crowd is getting farther from us, and no one can see us in the shadows. Princess, I swear on my word I'm bringing you back to the palace. Wait for an opening. We're gonna wait for an opening. We've seen Karma fight enough. We know what we're doing. He will be expecting me to fight back. I have to hold my ground until there's an opening. What would Jurian and Garland do in this situation? Nice and obedient, yeah? Better that way. After all, I'm not a bad guy. The man walks me down the alleyway, his hold on me still tight. I am forced to walk with him until we get to a dead end. Now where is that passageway he was talking about? Now's my chance. What is this I see before me? Karma! I look up to see Karma standing on the rooftop right above us in his disguise, holding a sword, a broad grin on his face. Madam, you might hurt yourself playing with that sword. You might want to put it down. What's this, sir? Do you feel threatened by me? You should. Ooh. Get it, Karma. Karma jumps down from the building and raises his sword in front of him. His eyes are angry, his earlier jovial personality fallen away. Anyone that attacks a lady has to pay for the crime. Karma rushes forward, moving faster than I can see, even in his long dress. The glint of the sword causes the man to fall backwards, loosening his grip on me. I step back from the man's hold and watch as Karma points his sword at the man's neck. Now, I have a sword and you do not. Do you really want to test your luck, sir? This isn't worth it. The man runs off, leaving me alone with Karma in the alleyway. What's this? You were a lot cockier just a few moments ago. I breathe out slowly as relief washes over me. Princess! Walt approaches from where the man had run. So, did you meet the coward fellow on your way here? I bumped into a man who looked like he was running from death. Oh my, I feel oddly accomplished. Karma and Walt's voices become faded and indistinct as my vision blurs. I'm suddenly light on my feet. All the adrenaline from earlier has dissipated into thin air. She's probably, like, terrified. She almost got kidnapped. I feel tired. Princess! Before I can collapse, I feel arms pulling me back up. Rest easy, Princess Evillan. I close my eyes and fall into blackness. When I wake up, Anise is setting a tray of food down on my bedside table. She does not notice as I slowly rise from bed. Anise? Oh, Princess, you're up. We were worried about you. Lady Delora and Lady Parfait said that you were just Lady Delora and Lady Parfait said you were just out because of shock, but still. How long have I been asleep? Just a few hours, Princess. Don't worry about chores for now. Lady Delora says that if you're feeling better later, you can use Mr. Broom. Just thinking about me using Mr. Broom gives me a headache. Where are Karma and Waltz? Waltz is scouting the town looking for the man that captured you. And Karma? I think he might be in his room, Princess. He's got patrol tonight, so he's resting a little bit. If he has patrol tonight, that must mean he was resting this morning, too. How did he know I needed help? Do you need anything, Princess? No, I'm going to go visit Karma. Huh? What? To thank him? However, he knew if Karma hadn't been there, things would not have ended so well. Yes. That's sweet, Princess. Oh, Lady Delora wants to talk to you about what happened when you're feeling up to it. Okay. I wait until her niece leaves the room before I follow after her. It is only after I exit my room that I realize I do not know where Karma's room is. Anise must have assumed that I already knew, with us being partners and all. It's fine, I do not need Anise's assistance for this. I can find Karma's room on my own. It takes me some time, but eventually I find a room with his name on the door in careful, flowery letters. It suits him. I simply open the door without thinking to knock. Uh-oh. Is he changing? Oh, yes, he's changing. I expected to find Karma lying in bed, but instead he is standing in front of a mirror changing his clothes. Oh my god. I love the little music. It's so quirky. He has a rose tattoo. Princess? Oh. I do not think I've ever seen a shirtless man before. Oh, indeed. He turns to me and the realization that he's just standing there just in his pants hits me hard in the stomach. My face feels incredibly uncomfortably warm. Why are you just standing there? Put on your clothes. And then I notice the large tattoo on his chest. It's a rose ensnared by many vines. I stare at it for a few moments before Karma puts a hand there to conceal it. It's rude to come into a lady's room unannounced, you know. Karma slips his usual dress on carefully over his head and then approaches me. I take a step back without realizing. Karma raises an eyebrow, then smiles at me mischievously. It is a familiar look, but it rattles me more now than it ever has before. It's because we're embarrassed. My princess, you're as red as a tomato. Are you okay? Does this man always need to point out the obvious? I'm fine. There's no need to shout, darling. Now, what did you come here for? To see me, the beautiful Karma? Does everything always have to revolve around you? Well, you are breaking into my room. I'm barely able to stifle a sigh. Well, I cross my arms and frown at him. His smile makes it harder to get my next words out. I came here to thank you. Huh? Do my ears deceive me? What did you say, Princess? Princess? Thank you for saving me. You're quite welcome, Princess. It was my pleasure. I should leave. Wait, what? I turn to leave, but Karma grabs my hand and pulls me back. The Princess, don't you owe me something? Huh? So Karma was expecting something in return after all. I should have known. I think you owe me an apology. You did come into my room unannounced after all. What is he talking about? Since you broke into my room, I demand you help me with my makeup. Then I will forget your transgression. Your makeup? Yes, darling. I thought you were resting because you're going on patrol tonight. Resting? Nonsense. I have much to do. My makeup earlier was so messy that I washed my face in order to reapply it. I cannot believe I'm going to agree to this. Fine. Ah, what a splendid day today is. Come, Princess, let's do this by a mirror. Karma pulls me over to the mirror where I can see both our faces reflected. He has a surprising variety of makeup on the dresser beside him. I do not even care that much for my appearance. Why am I helping Karma with his makeup? Now, which feature on the face do you think is the most important one to highlight, Princess? Your eyes. What? What are your eyes attracted to most on a person's face? When they're laughing, when they smile? Why is he asking me for my opinion on something so trivial? If someone was smiling, the first feature I would look at on their face would be their eyes. I'm telling you. You always look at a person's eyes first, so the eyes? Eyes are the mirrors to your soul, as they say. That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. Does that mean you always look into my eyes, Princess? I do. When I have to, look at this character, the first thing I notice is this big, fluffy, chest thingy he's got going on. I don't know what that is, but then the next thing I notice is his eyes. He's got beautiful green eyes. The minute he says that, I look into his eyes. Karma flutters his eyelashes at me, and I look back down and grumble. Karma's so much fun. What was that, a trick? Made you look. What do you think? Think? Of my eyes. Do they draw you in? I've never looked at Karma's eyes closely, but now that he keeps talking about them, I cannot help but look closer. His eyes are a pretty color. Yeah, they are. You don't have to answer that, princess. I'm just kidding. Of course. Your eyes, on the other hand, are beautiful. Really? We have, like, yellow eyes. I don't know how that's pretty. You and Rumple really are the same person. You both spout nonsensical compliments. Nonsensical? Oh, princess, I'm so offended. I mean what I say, unlike that fool. Anyway, I'll let you choose the order of things. Fine. Just don't make me look like a clown, princess. I know how much you like to tease me, but I need to get out of here quickly today. If you need to leave quickly, shouldn't you do your makeup yourself? And miss the opportunity to have you help me? Nonsense. If I can, I'll have you help me with my hair some other time. The way you do yours is beautiful. Yeah, we got like a little braid going on and like a side ponytail. It's kind of cute, I guess. Side ponytails are coming back in, aren't they? I always put effort into my hair, as Mother always emphasized the importance of looking like a princess. But I've never received a compliment on my hairstyle before. Karma gives me his makeup supplies and I start layering the color on his face. When we are this close, I cannot help but to carefully inspect every one of his features. I do not think I even did something like this with Mother. You know, princess, I don't think I deserve your thanks. I pause and raise an eyebrow at him. What? You've been helping me for a while, and I haven't helped you with your curse at all. What I did today was just a coincidence. Coincidence? I heard you went to town with Waltz, and so I followed you two. I only happened to catch what happened in the alleyway. You managed to see me even when there were many other people who didn't? I have good eyes, probably. Probably? It's not like you to be so humble. Evillan, I am, once again, offended. And why were you following us in the first place? You said you were too tired to go into town today. I was worried. It was strange not accompanying you today. Worried? Why would you be worried? Karma looks puzzled for a few moments. He glances at himself in the mirror solemnly, and then shrugs. Intuition, perhaps. Waltz mentioned something about feeling watched. Is there something that Waltz and Karma are watching out for that I am not? Karma closed his eyes momentarily, and I take the opportunity to dust his eyes with eyeshadow. He does not seem to mind. Princess, you haven't spoken about what happened today with Delora or Parfait, have you? No, not yet. You came to thank me first? Yes. Oh. Karma falls into silence, and I continue to work, sweeping the blush on his high cheekbones. Princess, do you know anything about the man who tried to drag you away today? No, he said only that he worked for the king, before telling me he would take me back to the palace. I wonder how he recognized you. I was wondering that myself. That's what I was wondering too, because you need to either be a fairy, a witch, or cursed in order to understand that she's the princess. How curious and alarming. The only ones who should pose a problem at this time are witches. Witches? What do they want with me? Well, I only mean that witches are the only ones who can see through our curses. So that man spoke with a witch? It's possible. But why? Why would the witches want me back to the palace? Or was that man trying to lead me somewhere else? I suppose either way, the man couldn't have wanted to bring me back to the palace for good reason. Yeah, because no one remembers us there. It is possible that a witch gave a commoner a description of you, but then why would... Karma stops talking and looks up at me with something like sympathy. Sorry, I'm just running my head for ideas. Are the witches really so dangerous? And what did they want with me in the first place? Rest assured, princess, we will figure this out. I nod my head slowly. I have a lot of questions for Delora and Parfait, but it is possible that they might not know everything. I will need to think on my own as well, just in case they decide to keep more of their secrets. I look at Karma and shake my head. Next time I will be more wary. I won't let myself be caught unaware. Before I realize it, Karma has his hand on my cheek and is staring at me solemnly. His eyes are cold and unmoving as steel. Princess, there won't be a next time. Yeah, protect us, Karma! That's what I said. Next time we'll make sure that you're definitely not alone. Had I been alone today, I might have actually been kidnapped. I know that, but I cannot show weakness. I just need to be more cautious. I'm not some damsel in distress, you know. Yes, you are. You are literally the picture of a damsel in distress. Having someone at your back is far more comforting. Even on a battlefield, knights fight better together. What's wrong? Nothing. He moves his hand away from my face and stands up, sighing. His eyes look suddenly distant and his posture is stiff. I think we're about done here, right? I haven't finished your makeup, though. Wait, why am I even concerned about that? Oh, sometimes simple is better. Or would you like me to sit back down? I do enjoy being pampered by you, princess. I take it back. We are definitely done. Good. Thank you for your hard work. In an instant, the mood changes, and a bright smile once again graces Karma's face. As much as I hate to do this, I'm going to have to leave you, darling. I have business in town and then a patrol later tonight. I probably won't see you for the rest of the day, but thank you. He's thanking me for putting on his makeup? It was such a small thing. You're welcome. You already thanked me, though. Well, now you can tell I'm twice as thankful as the normal person. That doesn't make any sense, but it's Karma. A lot of things he says do not make any sense. I leave the room with Karma, and he leaves the tavern as I go to find Parfait and Delora. The two of them are seated together in the reception, speaking in hushed voices when I arrive. They both pause to look up at me as I walk into the room. Well, well, if it isn't the princess. Took you long enough to come see us. Anise told us you were unharmed. We're glad to see you safe, princess. So how about telling us what happened? When prompted, I tell them everything that transpired in the alleyway. The two listen and only exchange a solemn glance when I am done. Do you know something about all this that I don't? Why would the witches be after me in the first place? You remember what we said about the dark crystal corrupting witches? Well, those witches don't like seeing curses broken. They meddle where they can, because they can. That is why I cast a glamour on you when you arrived here, so that you could remain hidden from magical eyes. I did it to protect you. To protect me? I feel like there is more to this than they are hiding, but I do not think any amount of convincing will get them to say anything. Forgive us, princess. We're not entirely sure what is going on either. Though if it was a human that captured you, he must be working with the witches somehow. Troublesome to say the least, but we don't know the details yet. Give us time to figure things out. Until we figure out who that man is and who he is working for, you need to have an escort with you out in the March End at all times. Do you understand? And once you figure it out, you will tell me? The two exchange another look, which only makes me more frustrated. They're obviously keeping secrets, and right in front of me. We'll tell you everything once everything falls into place. Don't worry, princess. We would never let you be put in any danger. I guess that's the most we're gonna get out of that. Silence is what ends our conversation. I make my way back to the room, feet heavy. I feel like a fly caught in a spider's web. I try my best to clear my mind as I return to my room. The days go by slowly, and I make no progress with my curse. Karma is busy with the knights today, and Delora and Parfait are busy talking with Rumpel about his curse in his room. Tonight is the perfect night to go and wander the town by myself. Ooh, why would we do that? We literally almost got kidnapped the last time we were by ourselves. We need to have an escort, we promised. I need to see if I can find out anything about the witches and what is happening around the kingdom. Parfait and Delora are not going to tell me anything, and no one has managed to take me out of the merchant since the kidnapping attempt. These thoughts spiral helplessly on my mind as I sit at a table. I have just finished working for the day, and the activity in the merchant is beginning to wind down. Garland stands at the door as the last few customers leave the merchant. Julian is walking around the room to make sure there are no problems. Out of the corner of my eye, I notice two men pause halfway across the room to glance back at her. I can overhear their words from where I am. Shame that she's a knight, eh? She's the proud type, too proud to let a man dote on her. Blading shame indeed. Do you think if I tried to say something to her? You too. Uh-oh, it's Garland. Don't mess with Julian. Garland will get you. Garland is suddenly standing behind the two men, an uncharacteristically dark glare on his face. Is there a problem? Doors are closing for the night. I'm going to have to ask you to please leave. No need to be so uptight, lad. We're on our way out now. The two men walk out and Garland stands in the middle of the tavern, glaring at them. He more or less pushed them out of the tavern. If Anise had seen that, she'd probably have scolded him. Garland, You okay? Of course. You think you can fool me? I've known you long enough to know that something's bothering you. Neither of the knights seem to notice me here. If they do, they ignore me. Jurian is still looking insistently at Garland, who looks down at the floor. Is he going to say something to her? Say something to her! Say something to her! Tell her that you like her! Tell her you have a crush on her! Tell her that she's beautiful! Do something! Garland says nothing, though. He looks at a loss for words. Finally, Jurian reaches out and pokes his shoulder, and he looks up, startled. Still the same as always, the silent, watchful knight. Only says things with certainty when he knows they're the truth. Even the princess is waiting for you to say something. That's right! Both knights turn to look at me, and Garland seems surprised. I raise an eyebrow at him, and he hurriedly looks away. Patrol is starting soon. I'll head out first. Okay, stay safe. Garland nods at her with a little smile before he leaves the tavern. Going to sleep soon, princess? I was just going to head up. I stand up and get ready to move up to my room, but once more I stop to look at Jurian. Did you hear what those men were saying? Oh, about me being too proud or something? So she did hear them, but chose to say nothing. It doesn't bother me. They're right. I've been independent for a long time, and I would never think about pledging my safety to a man I barely know. I could take care of myself. Blunt and to the point, Jurian was always admired for honesty in the palace. The only other men I've trusted before are my fellow knights, Garland most of all, since we've always been partners. She does not explain any further. I decide that is for the better. The sooner everyone is cleared out, the sooner I can leave the merchant. Tonight is the night I go looking for answers. This is such a bad idea. Why are we doing this? This is such a bad idea. Sorry, Karma. But I can handle myself. No, you can't. You've clearly shown that you can't handle yourself. I'm going to prove it tonight. I may not be able to fight, but I can still be cautious enough to not land myself in trouble. Still, I do not happen to hear much of anything as I'm exploring the town tonight. I should have brought along some kind of weapon, but then I would have had to steal a knife from the kitchen. I'm not a thief. Hours pass before I pass a tavern filled with knights. Deciding that I will listen in to what is happening at the palace, I linger by the open door and listen to what the men are saying. I hear that young Fritz is having a hard time of it. I feel bad for the lad. Even Sir Alcaster thinks he's gone mad. Well, he does keep talking about a princess that doesn't exist. Ha! I knew it! Okay, so Fritz is in the palace, and he knows that we're missing, and he can't convince anybody that we're missing. So Fritz is cursed. Fritz still remembers me, but how? Even his father is growing weary of his babbling. Sir Mithras forced him on break the other day. He didn't seem happy. Well, Sir Mithras must think he's crazy too. Poor Fritz. Can you keep a secret? The knights look at each other and I lean as close as I possibly can. Apparently the boy spoke some truth, although Sir Alcaster doesn't quite believe it. He's looking for the daughter of the previous queen. He's looking for us. The witch had a daughter? The previous queen? Are they talking about Mother? How dare they call her a witch? Apparently she did, though I never remember such a girl. This is top secret stuff. I just happened to wrestle this out of one of the lackeys looking for her. What would Sir Alcaster need this girl for? Does Sir Alcaster wants us? I'm assuming she's dangerous and they want to get rid of her. Are they talking about me? I'm curious, how are we supposed to find this imaginary princess anyway? Does she have any features? Aye, they described her features. Last man who went to look for her said she wore a special pendant around her neck. Ugh. I should get out of here. Yeah, you should. I turn to leave the tavern, but my cloak snags on the door and falls to the floor, tripping me up in the process. I end up falling halfway into the tavern where the chatter abruptly stops. Oh, goodness. We cannot handle ourselves at all. This is so bad. Is that? Oh, a lady. The knights were already talking to approach me. One of them picks up my cloak. I attempt to grab my cloak from their fingers, but they pull it away from me and I stumble onto one of them. Madam. He moves to take my hand and then he stops when he sees my face. Her face and a necklace. You think she was spying on us? Which? One of the knights grabs me by my wrist and pulls me towards him. He is far stronger than the man in the alleyway was. Unhand me right now. I am no witch. Then there should be no problem. We're just going to take you in, and if there's some big misunderstanding, we'll repay you ourselves, miss. No, let me go. This behavior is not fitting of a knight. Come now, princess, let's go back quietly. We have to try to convince them. We're not going to be able to win in a fight. So we have to try to convince them. Fighting back is useless when I'm outnumbered. I have to try convincing them that I'm not who they think I am. You're mistaken, sir, as they happen to overhear your conversation and assume I'm some imaginary princess is unreasonable. The knights look at each other. You know, she has a point. She was listening in on our conversation. That's clearly suspicious. Did you not hear what I just said? I happened to overhear it, nothing more. You were cloaked as if you were trying to hide your features. Being out at night without a cloak is a sure way to draw attention to a lady such as myself. You know, she has a point. Stop saying that, man. Then, madam, there should be no problem with us taking you back to the palace. If we are mistaken, we'll clear up the misunderstanding and pay you handsomely. Come on, let's take her to the palace. So, I wonder if Sir Alcaster knows who we are, too. The knights lead me out onto the empty streets. Why? Why did I have to be so stubborn? The knights continue pulling me down the path until we come to a narrow street. Everyone who sees us walks away to avoid the knights. There is fear in their eyes. But I have done nothing wrong. Ma'am, if it makes you feel any better, we're risking our rank on this as well. I don't know, I'm suspicious of... Who goes there? Is it Karma? It's Karma! I look up and notice Karma's familiar figure walking towards us. What is he doing here, and why isn't he in his disguise? Gentlemen, I ask you to unhand that woman. As a knight, I would be ashamed to be seen treating a lady so terribly. And who are you? Her husband. Ooh, good call. His what? Unhand her, gentlemen, or takes my blade. Sir, we are just going to take her to the palace to... I will give you on the count of 3. One knight keeps his grip on me as the other draws his sword. I stare at Karma, who continues to count, though the knights attack him before his sword leaves its sheath. Karma and the knight trade blows, but it is Karma that comes out victorious. His blade slides past the knight's shoulder, distracting him enough to give Karma the opening he needs. Karma reaches back with his free hand to knock the knight out with a blow to the head. It may just be my imagination, but a few moments I think I see the knight's blade glimmer across the surface of Karma's hand before he falls. The knight holds me up in his hands. The knight holding me holds up his hands in surrender. I yield, sir. It seems no matter how this situation turns out, you are dishonorable. Please, sir. Karma knocks him out and then stands beside me as he sheaths his sword. Karma, A few moments, Evillan. Karma spends some time forcing a potion from a vial down each of the knights' throats. I watch him quietly, fearing that he might have killed them, but the knights only seem to be asleep. A potion that Parfait gave me. It will make the men forget they ever saw you. When Karma stands again, I notice the glimmer of blood on his hand and stare. You're hurt. Oh, please, it's just a cut. It's nothing. I am sorry. Come on, princess, let's go back. Ugh. Yeah, you're done investigating for the night. You cannot handle yourself. He pulls me right out into the main street and does not let go of my hand. I cannot bring myself to speak. Karma has saved me twice now. Not only that, but this time he is injured. He says it's nothing, but his bloodied hand does not move at all. Why do I have to be so stubborn and insist I can handle myself? Because you're dumb. You're dumb. I do not speak for a long time. Eventually, I notice people start to stare. Though before long, the staring grows worse. Young women begin following us, giggling from behind. I turn to Karma, who looks like he hasn't slept in days. Karma. Sorry, princess, but I'm not in the mood to talk. Those girls are walking right behind us. This is his curse? Karma. Evillan, I just said that I'm in no mood to talk. Did you not hear me? We are being followed. He stares behind us almost stupidly and then laughs hollowly when the girls see his face. They start to rush towards us, their voices rising and blending together into horrendous cacophony. Karma is not moving though. He looks resigned. Maybe he's too tired to realize what he wants to do. I tighten my grip on Karma's hand and pull him away, my pace quickening to a run as the girls chase after us, screaming at me angrily for taking Karma away from them. Evillan, what are you doing? getting us out of here. Evillan. I lead him through the town and into little nooks and crannies where we managed to lose some of the crowd. Karma often led me through some of these spaces as shortcuts. Waltz knew them too. Once we were alone again, I stopped, falling to my knees and letting go of Karma's hand as I catch my breath. That really was a curse, having to run away from so many mindless women. That was difficult. Evillan? What? I did not mean to snap, but the tiredness is pressing on me too. You helped me out of that. Of course I did. Why would I want to be chased by girls? You could have left me behind and gone on alone. Instead, you helped me. You helped me too. I guess I just paid you back. Though to be honest, I wasn't even thinking about repaying him for saving me. I just knew that I didn't want Karma to be stuck trying to fend off all those girls. He was right about his curse. That is terrible. I just realized something. Karma kneels down beside me and waits for me to speak. My curse has people forget me, and yours has even strangers become fascinated with you. It's almost like our curses are opposite of each other, and yet we seem so similar. My eyes widen when I realize what I just said. We are similar, aren't we? He holds out his good hand to me, and I let him lead me back to the tavern through the abandoned alleyways. My feet are heavy, and all I want to do is sleep, but suddenly Karma is standing before me, his face grave. Evillan, I have to thank you for helping me earlier. I'm sorry I froze like that and made it more difficult on you. It was so sudden, and I was so tired I had no motivation to move. Shouldn't I be thanking you? I'll accept your thanks, even though I wish you didn't have to thank me in the first place. You should not have gone out on your own when you knew how dangerous it could be for you. I am sorry. I'll accept your apology too, because I lost sleep over this. I have no words for how I feel right now. Princess. Oh, so romantic. Karma reaches for my hand again, and this time he holds it up and kisses the back of it. Suddenly all my tiredness falls away. You really are a handful. But a delightful handful. I'm going to bandage his hand and then rest. We'll speak about all this later, okay? But the bleeding stopped on its own, Evillan, but it does not need to be treated. Don't worry, it'll be fine. Are you sure? As sure as I can be. I don't lie, not even the sake for a pretty lady. Karma lets my hand go as soon as we reach the merchant and then bows politely to me before heading back to his room. I watch him go, my mind whirling. Does he usually kiss women's hands? No, we've been with him long enough to know that. No, I don't think so. That's right. Matchmaking. These chapters are going by quick. You really are a handful, but a delightful handful. His words keep repeating in my head. I cannot stop hearing his voice and feeling his lips on my hand. My face feels warm, and every time I think about his words, my heart beats and feels unsteady. I really have to stop thinking about that. Karma is karma, and he puts on that overly polite act with everyone. But then I'm pretty sure I've never seen him do something like that with another person. I'll just go downstairs and stop thinking about all of this. I need to tell Parfait and Delora what happened. Because of the time I returned to the merchant yesterday, I never spoke to anyone about what happened. Maybe someone's downstairs. Someone usually is. I'll leave my room and make my way downstairs to the reception. It is quiet when I enter, but not as silent as I thought it would be. Karma is sitting at one of the tables speaking quietly with Parfait and Delora. His injured hand is sitting on the table, bandaged. I cannot help but stare at it, my heart plummeting. His injury is my fault. So, you have yet to hear the entire story? No, I'm not quite privy to the information Waltz has. Is that correct? Waltz has been directly involved in this far longer than you have. What about Waltz? Princess, you're up early. They all turn to look at me as I stand at the table. Karma looks tired and is not in his dress. He looks somber, but his smiles at me. Evillan, how nice of you to join us. When did he start saying my name without my title? Evillan, you've run into a lot of different mishaps this week, haven't you? I thought you would be stubbornly avoiding work. Instead, you go out of your way to get yourself into trouble. This involves me directly. How can I not be curious? You've also been irresponsible, sneaking out without any of us knowing. I have the freedom to do what I want to. I even wore a cloak to... Oh no, the cloak. I left it at the bar. I feel a nudge at my arm, and Karma is holding out my cloak with a tired smile. Hey! You went back to get this? When? Yesterday, when you were still in bed. You've been running yourself dry these last few days, Karma. It's nothing. Thank you. Huh? What's this? Our ice princess is thanking someone? Why is it something so strange? Oh, come now. She's not so icy. Evillan is more fire than anything. She is filled with unbridled passion and confidence. Ooh, that's a compliment coming from Karma. Confidence has gotten me nowhere so far. Don't look so dour, Evillan. You become quite the accomplished woman. Karma gestures towards me and I flush, unsure of what he's talking about. Then I notice Dolores' eyes are on me, too. Oh, Parfait, did you see that? What are they looking at? I reach down to grab my necklace and then pause. I cannot stop the gasp that leaves my lips. Is it broken? When did this happen? Princess, you didn't realize there was an extra piece to your necklace? Congratulations, Princess Evillan. You're a step closer to breaking your curse. I feel proud. I only ever felt this way around Mother. She did me a great favor yesterday. If not for Evillan, I might have been suffocated beneath a pile of very excited women. Wait, helping Karma escape was a good deed? She was selfless. He's not even mentioning the injury he got protecting me. Parfait and Delora are both smiling, but the cheerful mood does not last long. What were you talking about before I came down? About your kidnapping. Well, kidnappings. Both of them. It looks like we have a serious problem on our hands. What do you know about this? What does Waltz know that I don't? Princess, it's more about what everyone else knows that you don't. What everyone else knows? I feel anger begin to simmer inside me. Even though he looks apologetic, he says it so casually. What are you all hiding from me? Let's gather everyone later, shall we? I think Waltz might want to be here for this too. What does Waltz have to do with any of it? Be patient, Princess. You've already waited this long. What's another few hours? I guess. I have no choice but to agree with Parfait and Delora. I have no choice but to agree when Parfait and Delora refuse to say any more, but I'm not happy about it. I spend the rest of my time doing idle chores around the tavern. I do a round of sweeping with Mr. Broom and mindlessly organize some of the bottles. I cannot believe everyone knows something about me that I don't. But now I'll find out the entire story. Maybe it will answer some of the questions I have. But why are they keeping things about me a secret to begin with? Well, you are the crown princess. Delora gathers everyone in the tavern to discuss the kidnappings. I decide to sit in between Waltz and Karma. Good choice. So we have a story to tell. Story time, huh? I don't suppose this would be a romance, would it? Oh my god, Rumple. How can you stand to make comments like that constantly? How can you stand to live a lie? Oh my god, Rumble. The two glare at each other across the table, but Dolores silences them. Dolores starts with a story about the Great War, one that I have already heard so many times I can recite it myself. What does any of this have to do with me? Because of the fairy tales, witches like myself were punished for simply existing. Our leader, the Dark Crystal Bearer, was a kind witch that was overtaken by the grief that our people suffered. She was driven so far into madness that she created the fairy tale curse to punish humans and make them suffer as the witches had. And when that wasn't enough, she committed the ultimate taboo. She killed a human. I tried to stop her, but by the time I thought to act, it was too late. Knowing that Delora and Parfait were involved in the Great War makes it seem more real. But wasn't the Dark Crystal Bearer killed? How can the fairy tale curse continue to spread if she's dead? I believe that the Dark Crystal Bearer sacrificed the last bit of her life to continue powering the Dark Crystal. All to ensure that the remaining witches should continue spreading the fairy tale curse. Is none of this ringing a bell for you? What are you talking about? She really did erase your memories. It was our mom! Our mom was the Dark Crystal holder, wasn't she? Erase? The witch who died, the Dark Crystal Bearer, was your mother, Princess Evillan. What? For some reason, I turn to look at Karma, who is one of the only people who doesn't look away from me. I grew up outside of this kingdom, but even I knew of the terrible witch, Hildur. You expect me to believe any of this? She wasn't a witch. I would remember that. Well, you would if you had memories of the war, and the years before that. Under Hildur's rule, the palace was a dark place. The king didn't have any real power until Hildur was defeated. That goes for the rest of us too. We were slaves to Hildur. Dolores' eyes flickered a waltz. It's the truth. Waltz knows because he is also a witch. He experienced Hildur's command over the witch's first hand as well. Interesting. Waltz is a witch? Well, they do both have red eyes, so that makes sense. Sorry for keeping it a secret, princess. It's not as if I can use much magic anymore anyways, not when I'm cursed. This is just another secret of many. It seems everyone is hiding something. Everyone was freed after Hildur's reign. Witches, fairies, and humans alike. The king was even able to marry Ophelia, the woman he always truly loved. So, if it has always been Ophelia that he truly loved, was that the reason I never felt any love from him? Because I was my mother's daughter? He gave up on me. No, dear, I don't think he gave up on me! My voice is too loud in the reception area. I feel it crack beneath the pressure and suddenly I want to cry. But Mother told me so many times not to cry. The king gave up on me. But Mother didn't. Mother would tell me this was all a lie. She would tell me not trust anyone. They all must be lying. I turn to Karma. For some reason I trust him more than I trust Laura or Parfait. Is this the truth? I was told the story of Hildur and her daughter Evillan. They said you were the picture of elegance, but that you shared your mother's icy nature. Oof. But I don't think that's true at all. If Hildur was ice, then you most certainly are a warm fire. If my mother was a witch, then what does that make me? You're a witch as well, whether or not you were ever taught to use magic. On your upcoming birthday, you will become the Dark Crystal Bearer. Do you realize how ridiculous all this sounds? Me, a witch? The king never said anything. And now I cannot even ask him if it is the truth because I'm cursed. Why would you even curse me? We didn't want a repeat of that tragedy, Evillan. I sat on your shelves for almost a year, princess. There was ice in your heart, and if you had inherited the Dark Crystal in that state, who knows what would have happened. Then why didn't you just tell me any of this? Laura and Parfait look at each other before dropping their gazes to the ground. If we had told you before, would you have even bothered to listen? The king must have tried to do the same thing, and look how that turned out. You shut out everyone who ever tried to tell you about Hildur's true nature. That is probably true. Even now I'm having trouble believing that they're telling me the truth. The whole world feels as if it's collapsing around me. I need to escape. I need to go out and be somewhere else, but why are the witches looking for me? You are the heir to the Dark Crystal. No doubt the evil witches want you on their side so they can continue wreaking havoc on Angiel with the fairy tale curse. The men that were looking for Evillan were not witches, though. They were knights. Perhaps the witches and the knights are working together? This must be part of Alcaster's scheme to steal the throne. What are you talking about? The reason why Garland and I left the Order of Caldera was because the king did not believe us about Alcaster's coup. How would he know the princess's identity, though? Anyone who isn't a fairy, a witch, or isn't cursed should be able to remember her. But now that we know that it is not just the witches looking for the princess, but the knights of the Order of Caldera as well, they definitely have a description of her from someone. Evillan. Karma reaches out to touch my hand on my shoulder, and I flinch back before standing up. I cannot speak about this now. I want to be alone. Let her go. She'll need a lot of time to think. Poor Karma. He only wants to be there for us. This is hard for us to swallow, though. I did think our mother was a witch of some kind. I didn't think she was the Dark Crystal Bearer, but I leave everyone sitting at the table as I try to process the whirling thoughts in my mind. Hildur, my mother, the only person I ever thought loved me, was the Dark Crystal Bearer, a witch, the first witch to kill a human. The witch that started the fairy tale curse. All this time I thought Mother was the only one who cared, but what if she never did? I stay in my room for a long time, trying to process everything I have been told. It's a lot to swallow. Days go by before I decide to leave the tavern again to watch Karma practice with the knights. These last few days I felt hollow. Maybe seeing some of the normal practices will help me feel better. Maybe it will make things feel like nothing's changed. When I arrive at the forest, however, only Karma is standing in the clearing. He's staring through the trees as if he sees something there, but his expression is solemn, almost sad. Eventually he sighs, shaking his head before turning in my direction. Huh? Evillan. I prepare myself for a response, but find that no words come to mind. I have not spoken to Karma since the talk about Mother and the witches, and any of the ease I felt with him before has slipped away. Still, I came here on my own, and I cannot just stand there, being mute. The first thing that comes to mind. Where are Jurian and Garland? I'll only train with Garland. Jurian is on patrol duty tonight. He'll be here later. I just came early. It seems you did too. Evillan, are you okay? I'm sorry I haven't been by to see you. It's not as if you owe that to me. I don't owe it to you, but I truly wanted to. I've just been busy these last few days scouting the town for information. As much as I want you to come with me, why would you ever have wanted to pair up with someone like me anyways? Why, Princess, that's because I'm bitter and cold, and even though I want to change, all I can think about is myself. But now I want to change because I do not want to be the same as my mother. Isn't that selfish? Maybe so, but I believe you're being selfish for the right reasons. An entirely selfless person can't survive this world. Before we can make others happy, we have to be happy ourselves. Happy? Ourselves? Yes, an angry person holds resentment towards everyone, and it mars whatever good deeds they seek to do. That is why I cannot complete my good deeds. Wrong. You've already got one done. Recognizing the need for change is always a good thing, Evillan. Regardless of the motivation, you are trying to become a better person. That is what matters. Hell yeah. Speak it, Karma. Speak some truth. He takes a step towards me and then puts his hand on my shoulders and leans down until I can look right into his eyes. Karma's serious expression startles me as much as his touch. It is never too late for anyone to change. You taught me that. What? How could I have taught Karma anything? Do you mind if I tell you a story, Evillan? You do owe us a fact, sir. We gave you a fact about what it was like to live with our mother. You owe us a fact as well. So tell me more about your Beauty and the Beast story. Don't move. Don't move. Let me save. Don't move. With his face so close, all I can do is stare right into his eyes. Karma's hands tighten on my shoulders, and for a few moments I feel a slight panic rising in my chest. Then Karma steps away from me with a rough shake of his head. Karma? Next time I do that, Evillan, feel free to push me away. What? It's better that way. What does he mean by that? What do you mean by that, sir? Excuse you. You never answered. Will you listen to my story? Hell yeah. Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there lived a crown prince from a kingdom called Brugantia. Brugantia is one of the neighboring kingdoms, so this isn't make-believe? His name was Claude Adric Rinaldi Matthias Almont, but because the name was such a mouthful, he settled for an acronym as a nickname. Oh, Karma! K-A-R-M-A, Karma. At least around the palace where it was acceptable. Claude Adric Karma? Prince Claude was a man who flaunted his beauty and talents to all that he met. He often used his title to get what he wanted. Prince Claude was a selfish man who felt he was entitled to everything that he had. He was vain and often left his castle unattended so that he could avoid his responsibilities. Then one day he chanced upon a beautiful maiden in town square. He led her around the whole day, being as charming as he possibly could, and then at the end of the day he asked the woman to be his lover. She agreed, but their time together did not last long. Only weeks later, Prince Claude threw her away as one throws away an object and broke the woman's heart, and she cursed him. That beautiful maiden was a witch, but Prince Claude found out too late. The witch said that she would make his beauty, his vanity, a curse. To make even beauty a curse? Ashamed of being cursed, Prince Claude donned a disguise and left his kingdom behind. He's been gone for nearly a year now, and is most probably assumed he is dead. But in truth, the prince had come to Angiel seeking a way to break his curse. He had heard of a young lady named Evillan who, on her 18th birthday, could dispel any curse. Really? Karma. He looks so sad. I don't know how to comfort him. Claude? Oh, he's blushing. Karma, Claude, turns a startling red as he stares at me for a few moments. He does not speak. Then he bursts out laughing. I stare at him in shock, not understanding his reaction. I feel myself flush. Isn't that your real name? No, darling, it is, but hearing you say my name, well, it sounds so much softer out of your lips. I rather like it. Ew! Someone likes us. My cheeks are warm again. How is it always that he's able to make me feel this way? It's 'cause we like him. Ew! I will call you by that name if it makes you so happy. Let's make it a secret between the two of us. I'm still Miss Karma here. Besides, I'd rather you keep that name for my ears only. It makes me feel more special that way. More special? At that moment, Garland shows up for practice, and Claude politely excuses himself. I watch the two of them trade blows. Claude favors his other hand, but his blows still comes quickly, even with his injury. The more Claude tells me, the more I realize that he's, like me, a noble curse for being selfish. But how do I help break his curse? Why can't he tell me? As practice is drawing to a close, Claude asks Garland the usual question. So I think Karma, if we're following Beauty and the Beast rules, I think Karma needs to find somebody who likes him despite the fact that he's super beautiful. So that's probably why he hasn't told us the rest of his curse. Have you confessed to Jurian yet? Garland only shakes his head in reply. The two men sheath swords. Garland looks almost sad as he turns to make his way back to the tavern. He likes her, and yet he won't say anything. Why is that frustrating me so much? Garland? Yes, princess? Yes, princess? Let's see, you have to tell Jurian. Claude told me before that confessing is hard, but what Garland is going through looks even harder. Princess, you know I'm incapable. No, you think you're incapable, but if you never say anything to her, you'll never know. If I say something wrong, I risk losing everything that I already have with her. And if you say nothing, you risk losing what you could have with her. Evillan is right. Ooh, that's a good choice. It's the first time we've had that in a while. Maybe you should really tell her, Garland. But before, Claude was adamant that Garland shouldn't confess to Jurian. What changed? If I mess this up... let's try looking at it through another lens. Imagine that Jurian is Evillan. How do you think she would like to be confessed to? I frown at the two men, arms crossed. Excuse me? Well, you and Jurian are very similar. You're both very straightforward. Confess to the princess? My eyes move to Claude, but only fleetingly before they once again are on Garland. You just need to do something simple, Garland. Something that will not rub her the wrong way. A maiden's heart is ever fragile, and each woman is different. Claude is wearing an amused smile on his face, but he's looking at me, not Garland. I feel my face flush, and I have to look away. Evillan, you're tomato red again. It's adorable. Ugh. I cross my arms over my rapidly beating heart again and force a scowl on my face. No, I was just thinking about what Garland could do. Something simple, like when Karma kissed my hand. Garland kissing Jurian's hand is probably not a good idea. Maybe he could do what Claude and I did that one day in town. He can buy her some food and they can just talk. Garland, have you ever just asked Jurian out for food? Not alone. Jurian is practical, and she always eats at the tavern. She's also on duty if she's available. I'll take her patrol shift 2 nights from now then, and tomorrow you can ask her out for a meal. We can make your invite a grand affair. We can drape banners on the walls, or I could give you a rose. That sounds like a terrible idea. I am offended. Oh, poor Karma. I feel like if I did something like that for Jurian, she would get embarrassed and punch me. Sounds like another lady I know. Claude grins at me, but I just roll my eyes. Garland, just ask her normally, and when you are out and alone together, you can confess. And we'll make sure you have the time to do it. I'll purposely come late to practice tomorrow night so you can ask her out for that date. How does that sound? You two really think I can do this? Yes, I do. I believe that you can do this. You just have to ask the question. Whatever follows will at least be an answer. Tomorrow night, then. Good man. I'm sure it will go swimmingly. Or I could drown. You won't drown, Garland. Garland excuses himself with a nervous grin before Claude turns to me expectantly with a mischievous grin. Now, Evillan, we'll come here early tomorrow and spy on them. We need to scope out a good spot. Spy on them? Of course, we need to make sure that our efforts pay off. I don't think we should. You don't want to see how it plays out? I mutedly shake my head, unable to put my emotions into words. For some reason, I'm imagining myself in Jurian's position. It feels too personal. Claude's likeliness suddenly springs to mind, and I feel my face grow hot again. Evillan, you've been oddly out of it today. Claude reaches out a hand towards me and then abruptly pulls away. I stare as he smiles at me, almost sheepishly. The conversation between us dies, and we return to the merchant. Days pass, and although I did not spy on the conversation between Jurian and Garland, I noticed that Garland has been smiling from ear to ear during his practice with Claude recently. I can only assume that his confession went well. Claude took the patrol shift tonight, and as I lie in bed, I am restless. Every time I watch Claude practice with Jurian and Garland, I'm reminded of the palace of Fritz. I wonder how Fritz is doing. Is he still practicing with the other knights? My thoughts darken as I recall the kidnappings. Claude had to save me every single time. He got injured saving me. Unable to sleep, I slip out of bed and make my way to the reception room. Do not go out at night. Do not go out at night by yourself. The night air is cool and no one stops me from standing just outside of the merchant. I cannot just sit back and do nothing anymore. I have to act. I do not want Claude to get hurt of me because of me again. Eventually, I see Claude approach. He looks tired and is moving more slowly than usual, but when he sees me, his lips quirk into a smile. Evillan, what are you doing out here tonight, love? Love instead of darling. That's new. Hello, Claude. His face is dark red again. If you're using my real name, I'm supposed to come to ask for something serious? How could he know that? I do not need to ask something of you. Well, if you need a shoulder to cry on, I'm right here, love. What? Oh, is this not about... Never mind. I'm asking if you'll be my instructor. For some reason, I seem to have caught Claude off guard. He stares at me for a few moments. What? I want to learn how to use a sword, and I want you to be my instructor. Claude's expression becomes uncharacteristically serious. I'd rather you didn't learn how to use a sword. I do not want to have you keep protecting me. I don't mind protecting you. I do. Claude sighs and shakes his head. Princesses shouldn't be using swords. I want to be able to stand on my own 2 feet. You are. I do not want you to get hurt again when I can do something about it. Teach me, please, Claude. Once again, he flushes. It seems to be an instant reaction and is both amusing and endearing. Endearing? It won't be so easy. I wasn't expecting it to be. Claude stares at me for a long time before finally letting out a heavy sigh. Fine, I'll train you. Yay! You won't learn in a day, but I can teach you the essentials. You can use one of the knight's training swords. Thank you. Music to my ears. Meet me in the clearing in 10 minutes. 10 minutes? What? You said you wanted to train, so we will. Don't expect me to go easy on you. But aren't you tired? He looks exhausted when he came in, and now he wants to train? Are you trying to get out of training? I am not. Claude shakes his head, but he's smiling. I'll see you there in a few minutes, love. Moonlight spills through the trees, illuminating the forest with gentle light. Long minutes pass, and as I stand in the clearing, I begin to feel restless. He doesn't like Claude to be late. Is he tending to his injury? It was just a cut on his hand. It's not that bad, right? He doesn't even make a big deal out of it. I hear a rustling in the leaves and turn immediately to see what the disturbance is. But the minute I do, I'm pulled back by a strong force and my world goes dark. What? What? Before I can scream, I hear a gentle voice in my ears. Lesson 1, Evillan. When apprehended by an enemy that you can't see, you remain calm and use your 5 senses to judge how best to get the upper hand. His voice is coming from right behind me. Ew. Claude? I became aware that this is the closest he's ever been to me, with my back pressed against his chest like this. Panicking disorients the mind. That is why you must remain cool under any circumstance. We did. Last time we got kidnapped, we waited for an opening. We didn't just panic. How could I not panic? Any normal person would panic. Still, I try to force myself to be calm. Lesson 2. Enemies will often let down their guards when they think they have the upper hand. Catch your opponent off guard by remaining calm and locating this weakness with your senses. I try to calm myself as Claude instructs, and I feel it is a bit easier, but only because I know it's Claude. An opening. I move as quickly as I can, stepping forward so I can swing an elbow back at Claude's stomach. Before that happens, Claude had pulled me back to him, closing whatever distance I had put between us. In the process, he moves his hand from my eyes to my mouth. Ooh. I can once again see the forest, but my words are muffled beneath his hand. Another thing to remember, you won't always be able to catch your enemy off guard by throwing punches or hits at them. Your opponent will usually always be stronger than you, Evillan. Remember what I said about a weakness. Enemies will often let their guards down when they believe they are winning. Just like I have. An opening. A thought occurs to me as I glance around me and then down at Karma's bandaged hand. Karma's bandaged hand is over my mouth. Is this an opportunity or a trick? What will you do, princess? What kind of tactic would remove you from my grasp? Bite his hand! Use your teeth! Bite! Bite! Rah! I'm going to feel terrible about this, but I have to try. I shift my head to get enough space to bite down, and even Claude cannot hold me completely still as I squirm. Eventually, the hand over my mouth moves just enough for me to open my mouth, but I falter. I cannot bite the hand that I injured. Unable to do anything else, I immediately shake my head, and I hear Claude groan. With one swift motion, he pushes me down to the ground, pinning my hands by my head as he frowns at me. You're not even going to try and find an opening? I did! I wanted to bite you, but I didn't. She didn't want to bite you. I glare at him. I'm not going to bite your hand. Huh? Bite my hand? I didn't even think of that. But you made it obvious. You put your hand over my mouth. I'd meant for you to try moving my hand. Pushing back against a person's thumb usually causes their grip to loosen. How was I supposed to know that? Experience is the best means of practice, as they say. Hey, it's another right answer. Fuck yeah. These are so rewarding. I have a complaint about that particular lesson, but I withhold it. That was a pretty good attempt, love, but not good enough, I'm afraid. I wasn't expecting you to come at me like that. I was expecting sword practice. You weren't expecting a man to kidnap you in the alleyway, were you? I glare up at him, unable to say anything because he is right. You're oddly quiet. It's hard to find an opening to hurt you when you're not really my enemy. He does not move, but continues to stare at me. His face is close to mine. Close enough to what, exactly? Yeah, close enough to what, Evillan? What are we thinking about? Evillan, do you trust me to protect you? That's not the point. I need to be able to protect myself. Because you're planning on investigating the witches on your own? No, I want to be able to protect myself because I do not want you getting hurt protecting me. Claude leans down and I can feel his hair at my cheek. For a few moments, everything seems to stop and all I can hear is my heartbeat and his slow breathing. Once you set your mind to something, you don't let go, do you? Claude pulls away from me before I can respond and he's standing again, offering me a hand. Let's get started with some sword work then. The pleasant smile is back on his face. I can never tell what he's thinking at times like these. What are you really like, Claude? Chapter 7, Thorny Rose. Ooh, that's directly about Claude. So that's the first time we've had, I think that's the first time we've had a chapter that's directly about a certain person, other than us. When I returned to the march inn later that night, my hands are scratched, and I think I might have bruises on my arms. The sword practice will get ya. Claude was not joking when he said he would not go easy on me, but he did compliment me more than once. Evillan, I have hit you quite a few times, and you still haven't uttered a single complaint. Impressive. Crying is for the weak. Though everyone should be sleeping, I notice that the light is still on at the tavern. I see Jurian and Garland up at a table, speaking with each other and laughing. If Claude had come back with me, he would be happy to see this. You two are still up? They are not even surprised when they turn to face me. Good days like this are even better when stretched. I haven't been off duty in a long time. Did you both have a good time tonight? It was great. Garland knows these little places in town that I've never even heard before. I noticed that Jurian is more energetic than usual, her smile a little wider than normal. I wonder if she's drunk. Ah! I'm going to get another drink. Yep. Another drink? Garland leans in towards me, his voice hushed. We already bought a replacement bottle when we were out today. We would never take anything from the merchant without money. Right. Is Durian drunk? Oh no, princess. Tipsy. It's like a buzz. Fades a lot quicker. Oh. Garland and I watch Durian as she refills her glass at the bar. I have to thank you, princess. I would have never asked her out if you and Karma hadn't insisted on it. So you told her? Garland looks at me with a pleased smile. I'll take that as a yes. She didn't really realize until much later, but I just asked her out for food and she thought that's all it was. Maybe Durian really did need to be told bluntly. What happened? I, told her? And? We talked and remembered old times. He sounds like an old man. Huh. And I held her hand. I noticed Garland flinch ever so slightly, but he's smiling. He looks pleased with himself. And the night's not over yet, so... He trails off with a hopeful smile before he raises his eyebrows at me. What about you and Karma? What about us? I've asked him to train me. Train? Princess, you've asked him to teach you how to use a sword? What's this? Our princess is going to pick up a sword? Julian returns to the table, but I'm too tired to properly join in the conversation. I should probably leave them to their conversation and head back to bed. I need to get some rest if I want to start practicing at night. I excuse myself to head upstairs. Oof. I'm startled awake by an excruciatingly bright light. It is momentary, and when it is over, I'm sitting in my bed, dazed and confused. My eyes burn. My hand flies up to the pendant around my neck, where I see the second glass slipper with another piece. Another piece? What did we do? Oh, did we... Is it because we asked, or we made Durian and Garland get together? Is that why we got a second piece? Because it wasn't any of our business to do so, but we did it anyways? Ooh, it's spelling out. There's another piece. But when did I do another good deed? I grasp the necklace tightly in my hand as I make my way to the tavern. Everyone is doing their pre-morning chores when I get to the tavern area. I notice Karma glaring off into space, and then not far from him, the two knights. They haven't been up all night, have they? I make my way slowly over to them. Even back then, you were like some kind of shadow, weren't you? Oof. You don't have to hide it. It was obvious you were tailing me back then. It was only because I was worried about you. I realized you really didn't have to follow me, Lan, but I'm glad you did. Lan? Jurian. Oh, hush. Fritz used to call you that, too. Lan is Garland's childhood name. He still gets embarrassed when I call him that. I see. So what were you two talking about? Oh, we were just reminiscing. I look at the two of them critically for a few moments, waiting for them to say something. They both exchange a glance, but before looking at me, confused. Well? Well, what? How did your date go last night? Garland makes a sound and turns beet red. Jurian's eyebrows quirk, and then she laughs. Oh, that? It went well. So well, in fact, that you can see the two of us are still very much enjoying each other's company. Jurian is usually busy taking her rounds with the merchant with a scowl on her face. She looks happier being here with Garland, more relaxed. You might even say that we're dating. Yay! I'm glad we got them together. Yay! Isn't it funny how red he gets, princess? Yes, it is. It's hilarious. You were blushing just as much yesterday when one more Lan and I swear I'll punch you. Uh-oh, now she's blushing. The two of them are both blushing now, and the scene is oddly comical. Who knew that the two great knights of the Order of Caldera could be so easily undone? Both of you are amusing to watch. The two of them stare at me, suddenly solemn-faced. I suddenly remember that one conversation the knights all had at the castle. They were talking about how they all had personal reasons for being knights, despite the fact that they all served the king. I'd always thought Jurian and Garland were stoic and honorable, that their only reason for becoming knights was a sense of justice. Seeing them here, though, without that stoic facade, they feel more like people. My curiosity is piqued. Do you mind if I ask what your reasons were for becoming knights? Oh, my father was a knight. He put his life on the line for this kingdom. Jurian's father was a living legend in his own right, and he had the medals to back it up. My father wasn't around a lot, but I always admired him. Judging by the look on Jurian's face, it's clear to me that she really loves her father. My mother died when I was young, and because my father couldn't be around all the time to take care of me, I ended up practically living with Lan and his family. Lan always got annoyed when I called him my brother. Yeah, I'll bet. Now I know why. Yeah. Jurian just wanted to follow in her father's footsteps. Then why did you join the Knights, Garland? Because he wanted to watch over me. Ah, I never knew you blushed so easily, Garland. Garland seems to blush even harder at that, and Jurian's laughter becomes infectious. I feel amusement begin to bubble up as I watch the two of them. But a cold voice cuts through the laughter and the atmosphere like a hot blade through ice. Could you keep it down over there? Uh-oh. Karma's not happy. I turn and see that Claude's eyes, normally so warm, are cold. His usual smile is gone, replaced with a deep scowl. Oh, we're sorry. He's still glaring at the two of them. Oh, I can tell him about the necklace. Karma, I got another piece to my necklace. Another good deed. Karma turns his gaze towards me, but the frown doesn't disappear. That's nice, darling. His voice is calm but flat and lacks any enthusiasm. That felt lackluster, and oddly disappointing. A good deed. Congratulations, princess. You're close to breaking your curse. What did you get the good deed for? I'm not sure exactly. Maybe it was for helping Lan confess? That's what I thought. I thought it was because we helped Garland confess to Jurian. I hear you and Karma went out of your way to help make it happen. That happened yesterday, though. Maybe the magic was waiting to see what became of Garland and I? Claude makes a dismissive hand gesture from this table, frowning. If you two insist on being so affectionate, you should get a room. Affectionate? Jurian's smile has faded into a dangerous scowl. Where Garland looks confused, Jurian looks notably irritated. Uh-oh. The shadow is still there on his face. Claude does not look okay at all. We should comfort him, but I don't think he's gonna like it. Something must be really bothering him. I should be patient with him, just like he is with me. Before I can think what I'm doing, I reach out to grab his hand. Oof, he slaps my hand away. You shouldn't just reach out to touch a person without giving them some warning. But he does that with me all the time. I pull my hand back, and at that same moment, Claude's expression falls. He looks at me with almost a pained expression on his face. No, wait, I shouldn't have said that. I'm sorry. Silence descends for a few moments before Claude abruptly stands up from his table. Excuse me. Claude turns briskly and heads upstairs, leaving me with the two knights. I wonder what's wrong with him. You think we've been running him too thin because of practice? I do not think it's you two. I get the feeling that Claude holds himself back from saying what he means sometimes. Sometimes he acts strange, distant, and recently he's getting more and more moody. Yeah, what is going on? Princess. I look over at Anise, who's smiling apologetically. Sorry to interrupt, but Mr. Broom is getting kind of restless. Time to sweep, I suppose. Well, maybe cleaning will help me get my mind off things. So we really are turning into Cinderella with the sweeping and the cleaning and all that. The rest of the day goes by slowly. I'm stuck cleaning most of the day and then serving later. At one point, I speak with Delora about the knights that had attempted to kidnap me, and she tells me that she and Parfait are meeting later to discuss their suspicions. I still do not understand what their suspicions are when Sir Alcaster cannot possibly know who I am. But he has Fritz, and Fritz knows who you are. My hands are sore by the end of the night, but I still feel like I can practice with the sword. I notice that both Jurian and Garland look restless, too. Garland eventually leaves for patrol, while Jurian remains at a table, looking deep in thought. I do not want to bother her, so I decide to go try and find Claude. I go to his room, but find that the door is locked. Knock, knock, knock. Karma, are we training tonight? No answer. My heart sinks. Is he not speaking to me? Did I do something wrong? Aw, she's starting to care. Before she would just have been like, I don't care, he's being a bitch, blah blah blah, give him the cold shoulder, but now she's like curious and concerned. For days, Claude stayed in his room, only leaving when he had to be on patrol. A few times I saw Parfait go into his room, but she refuses to talk about what is bothering him. I feel so useless. When Claude did appear in the tavern or out on the town, he still had that terrible grimace on his face. Look, I really don't want to talk right now. If you're so frustrated with me, why not just ignore me? No, I'm not going to train tonight. I'm not in the right state of mind. I don't want to talk about it. Just leave me alone. Please. I'm really beginning to worry about him. Today I'm in town running errands with Waltz for parfait. It's been almost a week since Claude started acting so strangely, so I thought I needed to do something for him. I know he likes dresses, and he told me once that he likes roses, but can I really find something that will cheer him up? Perhaps we'd like some jewelry. Waltz, do you remember what the jewelry store that Karma likes? I don't go there very often, so unfortunately no. Princess, is this a good deed? What you're doing right now, did you think it would be a good deed? Good deeds need to be selfless, right? Generally, yes. I doubt this will count as selfless. I'm doing this to cheer Karma up. That sounds pretty selfless. But it's also so that he goes back to teaching me how to fight instead of sulking in his room. Oof. I've heard that Karma has been teaching you how to use a sword. Why do you want to learn how to fight? Isn't it obvious? Because we're always getting kidnapped. Because I want to be able to protect myself, and it's not like I can use magic. At least sword fighting gives me an advantage. I'm sorry, Princess. I wish I could teach you magic, but it doesn't work when you're under a curse. But on your 18th birthday, when you become the Dark Crystal Bearer, you'll be able to use magic. I'll instruct you if you need me to. That would be nice. Though that doesn't solve my current problem. What would cheer Claude up? Walt starts chuckling beside me, and I return to look at him, confused. Karma is important to you, isn't he? He's my partner, and he's helped me. He's also been patient with me and smiled even when I said some really inconsiderate things to him. I'm glad, Princess, that he's your friend. My friend. Claude does not feel like a friend. He feels like something else. A crush, maybe? A lover, maybe? Oh, Princess, is this the one you were searching for? Waltz points to a peddler sporting different kinds of jewelry, and I instantly make my way towards it. There are all kinds of glittering things displayed, and for a few moments I feel myself drawn to everything. But then I notice the price tags. I barely have any money left from what the king gave me that pouch. Oh, that was 2 months ago. I'm surprised we're still hanging on to that. I cannot afford any of this. Maybe we should do our errands first and then look for a gift. Maybe we'll find something as we look through the stores. But if I don't get Claude's gift today, I may not be able to give it to him tonight. Princess? Let's do errands first. Errands first. Because I think we'll be able to find something if we do our errands first. Waltz has a good point. We might find something while we do the errands, and then we can get them out of the way. Besides, it's not right for me to put Claude above everyone else. Yes, we got a good point for that. Hell yeah. We spend a few hours gathering the supplies needed for the tavern, and only then do we start looking again for Claude's gift. Princess, I can hold more of those bags for you. It's fine, I'm used to carrying lots of bags. Does Karma make you carry them around? Princess, you really should tell him off. He does a lot of other things for me, but next time I think I will. So long as he gets out of his room sometime soon, I really hope he does. Hey, Princess. But now the problem is finding something that he'll like. What does Claude like? Princess! There's no reason for you to shout. Walt shakes his head at me, but he's smiling. Let me offer you a deal. A deal? If you help me set up one of my puppet shows, I'll pay you. You earn money from your puppet shows? I get tipped, so what do you say? I won't go easy on you, though. Yes, I'll help you. Huh? Why do you seem so surprised? I was just thinking that everyone's right. You've really changed, Princess. Maybe having Karma as a partner really was a good idea. Huh. Being partners with Claude may have changed me for the better, but I doubt I've done the same for him. I'm sure Karma would be very happy that you are buying him a gift. Receiving gifts from admirers isn't the same thing as you getting him something. Huh? He receives gifts from admirers? For a few moments, I think about the woman who chased us in town a few weeks ago, and I feel a little unpleasant stab in my heart. Oh, jealousy. Small things. A man will treat him to a dessert every so often. I saw a lot of it when we did errands together. He always makes Karma accept those gifts without killing the man. Killing the man? That's dramatic, but sounds like Karma. He punched Rumple when he asked to marry him, joke or not. Karma wears his disguise to be convincing, but then gets angry when people fall for it. He's still very much a child. You know how he is. He doesn't like being flirted with. Waltz, do you know anything else about Karma's curse? His curse? He never really talks about it. Claude may be even more stubborn than me if he's not letting anyone help him with his curse. Waltz and I continue our search for a gift. Waltz tells me I can look for something a bit more expensive and that he'll just put me to work on another day by helping him with his puppets. I returned to the jewelry peddler we found earlier. Hello, madam. Sir, what can I help you with today? Do you have any sort of rose-shaped jewelry here? The man refers me to a box full of many rose-shaped earrings. He then shows me necklaces, and I realize belatedly that it is as if I am searching for something for Miss Karma, not Claude. My eyes scan the glass, nearly in defeat, before a little rose catches my attention in the back of the display window. It has a chain connected to it, but it doesn't seem long enough to be a necklace. What's that one? That's our simple rose pendant, madam. It comes with a chain, but it can also be pinned on the chest. The man takes it out of the display case so I can look at it. Oh, it's cute! This is fancy, but not completely flashy. I feel a little click as I press my fingers to the pendant, and I realize that it can also open. Oh yes, you can also put something small inside of it. This is perfect. What are you gonna put? I look at the price tag, and after making sure that it is not too expensive, I pay the shopkeeper. Walt pays him the additional fee, and then we walk back towards the merchant together. When we return to the merchant, I go to my room to tuck the locket into a drawer before we head to the tavern to finish the rest of my chores. Just as I expected, Claude is not downstairs today either. Duran and Garland have taken to training with each other, though they seem agitated that Claude is not helping them. At the end of the day, I hurry to my room where I write a few words on a piece of paper that I put into the locket. A normal rose would have withered, so I offer this one instead, in heartfelt thanks. I hold the locket tightly in my hand and start towards Claude's room. Why is my heart beating so fast? I'm just giving him a gift. I pause at Claude's door, remembering the last time I entered his room. I'm sure it's okay if I just go in. Don't just go. You have to knock. Did you not learn how to knock yet? It's been like months. I open up the door to Claude's room, which is thankfully not locked, and step inside. Claude is sitting motionless in front of his mirror, his shoulders slumped as he stares at his reflection. Huh? He's shirtless, and there's that tattoo. It seems different. Claude does not notice me at first. I notice that his hand goes to the tattoo over his chest, then I hear him heave a heavy sigh. Slowly, I close the door behind me. It clicks, and that is when he suddenly turns to look at me. At first, there's just shock on his face, and then suddenly, anger. Again, why do you do this, Evillan? Why do we do this? I came to give you something. I tightly grip the locket in my hands as I stare at him, and this was so important, so very essential, that you once again missed knocking on my door for a simple delivery. His voice slices through my heart. I wanted it to be a surprise. I'm not in the mood for surprises, princess. Oh. At no time at all, Claude is suddenly right in front of me, his hands outstretched on either side of me, pinning me to the wall against the door. Huh? His face is so close, his expression so fierce, that I cannot even bring myself to think of a way out. The only thing I can do is stare at him levelly, without getting angry, without crying. I will not show any weakness. Why aren't you struggling or screaming at me? That's what the Evillan that I know would do. Then you do not know me as much as you think you do. And you know nothing about me. I already have a retort prepared when I stop, realizing that he is right. I barely know anything about him. No, I don't, but I'd like to. Why do you insist on poking your nose into others' business? Well, we're partners. That's the only reason. It has to be. I'm supposed to help you, so why do you keep secrets from me? Help me? His lips quirk, but his smile is sardonic. Claude, I want to help you. In the silence that stands between us, I find that I cannot help but look at Claude's tattoo, at the thorns twirling around the rose. It is beautiful, but it also seems so lethal. When I glance at Claude again, he looks crestfallen, his eyes glittering like he might be on the verge of tears. Secrets are secrets for a reason, princess. You should know that. If I could speak about them, I would, but I can't, and you bursting into my room without any notice only makes it harder. Harder for what? Princess, you can't imagine what this all feels like. What is he talking about? And that woman, I thought we were meant to be. She was so lovely, her smile as bright as the sun. Claude's eyes are far away. That's why never again. But then you ruined everything, Evillan. You cut me down like... I push my hands against Claude's chest, catching him off guard and forcing him to stumble back. I cannot take any of this. If I've ruined everything, then I'll just leave. You can have all the time in the world to yourself then. The locket I'd bought for him burns in my hand and I end up throwing it at his feet. Evillan, wait! I ignore him as I run from the room. When I return to my room and lock my door, I feel too hollow inside for tears. It hurts to breathe when I think of Claude. I eventually manage to fall asleep, but only have snatches of restless dreams when my eyes finally close. Mother, are you and Father in true love, like the fairy tales? I thought I forbid you to speak of fairy tales. Have you been reading them? No, Mother, I overheard someone in the palace talking about them today. Then I shall have to find that person and make sure they know what an appropriate topic of conversation in the palace is. But Mother, the true love in fairy tales sounds so nice. Do you think I can fall in true love with a prince? Dearest one, true love like that does not exist. But the love between a mother and her child is the truest kind. It cannot be replicated by anything else. All other kinds of love is an illusion. My love for you is all you ever need. Do you understand me, my heart? Yes, Mother. Some toxic shit we're learning about our mom. The Lost Prince. Alright, that's going to do it for me today, guys. Thanks for joining me for another episode of Cinderella Phenomenon. If you like this game, you can get it on Steam. It is free. If you want to see more of me playing this, the first part or the next part, you can always find it on YouTube/Evillan at YouTube/@Evillan Princess Evillan VODs. Princess Evillan VODs. Princess Evillan VODs. I'll get it right one of these times, guys. So let's do a quick little save. And that's going to be it for me. Thanks, guys. I'll see you later. Bye.